You did. And so the point of all of this is, one, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's coming. It's coming fast and furious. Deployment, it is serious and it's intense. And, we were just sitting here praying just a couple of minutes ago. Jared needs to go full time. This is what needs to happen. It's clearly evident, the other story we recorded this morning and all of what happened. You got your walking papers, your commission. What we need to raise the finances so he can go full time. And it's interesting because as we were praying, I got the number 2,500, and that number kept coming up, 2,500, even in the stories. I didn't share it with everybody. But we need to raise money for a salary for Jared to go full time. We've had different people fill in deployment roles. Mike has been the long-term deployment director. And, Jared coming back from Ukraine and Turkey. I mean, just when you're out there, you describe it like, this is what I'm made for.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, it's like walking into like all these other places in my life, all coming together to just like instantly feel like, oh, this is where it all comes together. This is where it jives. This is where life all of a sudden says, oh, you were made for this.
This is what I'm made for.
Yeah.
And you could so clearly see it. And I've been watching this process that him and his family have gone through with just really lack and little. Their hearts are to go full-time in. I've been watching this process, just excruciating because I want to help, but you got to also allow God to do his thing, whatever that process is. But I just feel like we're in a moment this morning that we need to raise the money so Jared can go full-time. And I'm asking that you guys would partner, that we can get this guy a salary, him and his family taken care of. We all know deployment is more than a full-time role. And, he came back from Ukraine, then Turkey, and he's going back and he's a contractor. He does different jobs and stuff like that. But to try and do that, and things aren't working, it doesn't feel right. You feel like you got two left hands. And
right. Jared, how many children do you have?
4 kids.
4. What's the ages?
18, 16, 12, and 9.
Okay. So I think there's somebody out there that's going to just fund the whole thing. Yeah.
I do. I believe that. We need to get this guy taken care of. Now, the other thing is I'm going to sow a seed of $2,500 into Jared today, send them on this trip to Kansas City just to bless these guys. They've been really struggling financially. Their hearts are so in. They're just going, God, how do we do this? So in faith, I'm just going to sow that seed into Jared. I want you guys to partner with us, but I have another ask as well, okay? And the ask is we really feel like in this season that we need to expand our capabilities with our base camp.
Yeah.
And we believe that now's the time to do this. And so when I went down to Florida this last time to actually wrap up that Florida deployment, we had extra money left over. It was like 8 or 10 grand or something like that. And we went down there explicitly to go down and sow the rest of that money into that community. And what was really interesting with that is I went to the natural disaster expo, and when I went in, we saw all these cool gadgets, all this cool stuff, but I found a base camp, and they're these modular tent systems that go into these cases. They get set up in 60 seconds, these portable bunk units that go up. They sleep like 25 people per tent, and they have tent shower units and bathroom units, all self-contained. And I'm even thinking like this is a great way to take training into like a church that wants to get their people trained. We just show up with that black trailer out there. We pop it up in a parking lot. The people, and they actually get trained and live in it for the weekend, and that's how they get trained realistically. And when we don't have deployments going on, and then deployment-wise, like this, like when you go out to deploy, the first thing that we're looking for is for housing, a place for place for people to shower. It's huge. And then we're always deployed in really hot environments to have AC for our teams. How many places we deployed we didn't have AC,
To add to that is like a lot of churches that we go to, yes, come on, but we always warn them up front, we don't know, we're going to be here for this period of time. We're going to disrupt your
They're trying to have Sunday services. We got air mattresses everywhere.
So a lot of times we'll disrupt it, and they're okay for the first week, 2 weeks sometime. But after a while, they kind of want their place back. And so with this base camp, our own base camp, they could put us in a parking lot or whatever, and we would not disrupt their inside building. Okay,
Right.
and that while they're really gracious to let us do that,
The
if we
grace
had
eventually wears out.
we wear it thin sometime, and so to have our own base camp where we could depend on their parking lot, but not
Right.
their inside of the building.
Empowers things relationally with the church.
Yeah.
And so,
And so I think
you're
it-
not such a burden.
We could go a lot. Here's the thing about this
Move,
base camp
yeah.
is one, we could roll the trailer immediately. We don't have to wait for necessarily the contact. And there's something about when you're able to lean in, you don't know really even where you're going. How many times have you deployed? We didn't know where we're going. You're making the phone calls and looking for that man of peace on the way. Now we can roll right out the door, but then also we can stay longer. We can house more people. Everybody's, because think about it, you're working 16-hour days in the heat, responding to a hurricane or something like that, to come back to be able to shower, get in an air condition, cool off, and rest.
It's important. It really
It's
is important.
huge, you know. So this base camp, like fully outfitted, it's about $250,000. Okay, I would love to see that thing come in a day. But the other thing is we can build it out modularly as well. We can buy pieces at a time. You know, each deployment we can build up. But so two things: direct ask, and there's no mistake. Board members here, Karen's here right now. Like, I really feel like we need to go after this. We need to raise his salary, and we need to get this base camp. If you're willing to sow a seed into Jared going full time, and if there's somebody out there or people out there want to sow into getting this base camp and this spec ops trailer, we can roll it right down the road. We got the trailer. We're ready to go. And I just started putting the equipment in. Mike's here, Karen's here, Jared, the whole thing that happened this morning. Guys, this is the Lord. We've been here before. We're in one of these moments. I just asking these guys, sow a seed, sow into this big, lean in, make a sacrifice. I'm going to sow a seed in faith into this, and we're
just let me chime in on that, because like I didn't know you were going to do that $2,500, right? I'm just finding that out as you guys are hearing about it right now, and the connection with that washer dryer bit. We have, you know, when you're running tight and you're running lean, you get on Marketplace and you buy a new washer and dryer when they go out. We have been through, I think this is our third set in a year over this whole mess.
because you're buying cheap washing
Because
machines.
you're buying junk. You know what I mean? You're just like, all right, and you got 4 kids and you use them harder than they've ever been using their life, and they're on the end of their life. And we just picked up another one last weekend, because it's just like, and you know, it's not a big deal to set up your washer and dryer, but it is this moment where you're doing, am I doing this for the third time?
Yeah.
You know? And,
Yeah.
and one of those that we picked up was rough. And I'm like, oh wow, that's just interesting that it's that parallel. Like that's a piece in my life that's just over and over again.
See-
and for like you guys are sewing in that washer and dryer again.
See, I was
It's so amazing.
I was going for the used one. Okay, and I ended up with a brand new one with the same amount of money.
So it's Father's Day
amazing.
weekend. I mean,
Just
it's
amazing.
the benevolence of
And
the
your
Father.
birthday.
It is my
And
birthday.
it's your
today.
birthday.
And I
The
just
Lord's
believe
talking.
that we're in a moment, and it's just been super quiet for probably like the last 6-8 weeks. Haven't really heard anything.
Static.
And it's just like a pin, you know, haven't heard a pin drop. And then literally in a moment this morning, all of this is coming together. Now's the time. Asking for you guys' partnership. So big into this. We know that this is the Lord. There's no doubt, you know.
Help us to expedite this.
Yes.
What God is doing in
Yeah.
the earth right now.
Yeah, it's like the tide has gone out after, you know, Ukraine and Turkey, and I'd love to go back to those places. The Lord hasn't given us a word to go back yet, but we know the next thing is coming. We know the rhythms of how these things go. Everybody gets a break, everybody gets a rest. Something's coming. We need to get these things outfitted right away so we can roll down the road, and I think in a moment you're going to be deploying. And we're going to be out the door, and we need to order this gear, so, and get you up full time. So that's our story, guys. So thank you, Mike, for sharing that story. I love that story.
I'm glad I can remember it. That's better get it on film.
Yeah. We love you guys, appreciate you, and just looking forward to what God does next. And it's just so much fun to see God's hand. That's really the heart of who Cry is we're just trying to follow Father as he leads and as he moves, and we just want to join in with that. We want to give you the opportunity to join in.
Yeah.
So God bless you guys. Happy Father's Day, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.